Have you ever stood in the bathroom, towel in hand, listening to a little voice shouting no from the hallway, and thought, how did something as simple as bath time turn into a full-blown negotiation? If you've spent any time around toddlers or young kids lately, especially if you're helping out with your grandchildren, you've probably found yourself in this exact situation. What was once a sweet, bubbly routine has somehow turned into a daily challenge. And let me tell you, you're not alone. For many grandparents, bath time used to be a joy. A little rubber duck, some warm water, and giggles echoing off the tile walls. But kids today, they're growing up in a world that moves fast, that's full of bright screens and constant stimulation. By the end of the day, their little brains are already stretched thin. And when we try to shift gears, especially to something that involves getting undressed, wet, and maybe cold, it's no surprise that the resistance kicks in. But here's the good news, bath time doesn't have to feel like a standoff. With a few small shifts, it can become a moment of connection, calm, and even fun for both of you. In this video, we're going to talk about how to turn bath time from a battle into a beautiful part of your day. And no, it doesn't take fancy gadgets or an overflowing toy basket. Just a little awareness, some gentle structure, and a whole lot of heart. Let's start with something simple, but powerful, timing. One of the biggest reasons bath time turns into a struggle is because we're trying to squeeze it in at the wrong moment. Maybe the child is overtired, or they've just been pulled away from a favorite toy or show. And let's be honest, when you're tired yourself, it's tempting to just say, all right, let's get this over with. But kids pick up on that energy. They feel rushed, dragged, and sometimes even scolded before their feet hit the water. Instead, think of bath time as a transition, not just a task. It helps to give a little warning before the shift. Something like, in 10 minutes, we'll get ready for your bath, can make a world of difference. Even better, involve them in the prep. Let them help pick out the towel or choose which bath toy they'll use. It gives them a sense of control, which, especially with young kids, can ease a lot of tension. Now, let's talk about something else that gets overlooked, the environment. Picture this. A brightly lit bathroom. Cold tile. Echoes bouncing off the walls. Maybe a faucet that sputters or a tub that feels just a little too big. From our perspective, it's just a normal part of the house. But to a child, it can feel unfamiliar and even intimidating. Think about how you feel when you walk into a doctor's office with that sterile, clinical vibe. That's how some kids feel about the bathroom. So what can we do? We soften the space. Warm lighting, a cozy rug, and towels that smell like home. A little music playing softly. Maybe a few drops of lavender in the water if their parents are okay with that. It's amazing how just a few tweaks can turn the bathroom from a place of tension into one of comfort. And temperature, let's not forget that. I've seen little ones who seem to be resisting bath time, when really, they're just cold. Warming up the room a bit beforehand or checking the water with your wrist, not just your hand, can go a long way. And keeping a warm towel ready for when they get out adds a lovely finishing touch. It tells them, you're cared for, all the way through. Something else I want to mention, and this one might surprise you, is how powerful play can be. Now, I know some of us didn't grow up with a lot of toys in the bath. It was more about get in, get clean, and get out. But for today's kids, play is how they make sense of the world. And bath time is a wonderful opportunity for that. A cup and a spoon can become a tea party. A plastic animal becomes an ocean explorer. And you don't need to bring in a whole toy store, just one or two open-ended items are enough. And here's the best part, when you make bath time playful, the resistance fades. They're not being told what to do, they're engaging with something fun. You're meeting them in their world, not dragging them into yours. And that moment, right there, is where the magic happens. Of course, you don't need to be bouncing off the walls or splashing around to make bath time joyful. Sometimes, it's about presence. Just sitting nearby, talking softly, maybe telling a story or singing a little song. Even if your knees hurt and you don't feel like crawling on the floor, just your calm energy can be enough to make that space feel safe. Now that we've touched on timing, the environment, and the power of play, you might already be noticing how these things work together. Bath time isn't about forcing cooperation, it's about building trust. It's about helping a child feel seen, respected, and understood. And when that foundation is there, the rest falls into place with a lot more ease. Sometimes, it's not about what you do, but how you do it. And when it comes to helping a child into the bath, your energy, your tone, and your body language say a lot more than the words you're using. One of the most helpful things I've learned over the years, both as a parent and now as a grandparent, is that connection comes before cooperation. If a child feels connected to you, they're far more likely to follow your lead. And bath time is the perfect chance to build that bond, even in just a few minutes a day. Let's say you've already created a cozy environment. You've given them a heads up, maybe even let them choose their towel or bath toy. That's a great start. But sometimes, even with all of that in place, they still resist. Maybe they just don't want to stop what they're doing. Maybe they're testing boundaries. Or maybe, in their little world, the idea of getting wet just doesn't sound all that appealing right now. Here's where the magic of rhythm comes in. Kids thrive on predictability. When they know what's coming next, it helps them feel secure. So having a consistent bath time routine, one that happens around the same time each day, in more or less the same way, can really help cut down on the pushback. Maybe it starts with picking out pajamas together. Then comes a little song as you walk them to the bathroom. The warm water's already running. The towels on the warmer were tucked nearby. And there's a quiet rhythm to the whole thing. It doesn't have to be rigid, just familiar. Even something as simple as saying the same few words, "Okay, bath time now, let's wash the day away," can become a comforting cue. When kids can anticipate what's next, they're less likely to resist it. And when you deliver it all with a gentle smile, even if you're tired, it reminds them that you're in this together. That brings me to another simple, but incredibly powerful trick: give them a role to play. Kids don't always want to be told what to do. But they love to feel helpful. So instead of saying, "You have to get in the bath now," try, "Can you be my helper and check if the water's just right?" Or, "You're in charge of making sure your ducky gets a good rinse tonight." These little moments of empowerment can completely shift the mood. And I know what you might be thinking: what if they still say no? What if they throw their arms up and pout or stomp away? That's when we take a deep breath and remind ourselves, this isn't about winning. It's about guiding. Kids test limits because they're learning. They're not trying to make life harder, they're trying to figure out where the edges are and whether the grown-ups in their lives can hold those edges gently without giving in to frustration. That's not always easy. Especially when your back's aching or dinner's still waiting on the stove. But just being able to say, "I see you're upset. I know you don't want a bath right now, and that's okay to feel," can diffuse so much tension. Then you calmly hold the boundary: "It's still bath time, and I'm here to help you through it." No yelling. No threats. Just presence. And you'd be amazed at how often they'll eventually come around, not because you forced them, but because you stood beside them with love and calm. One more thing that's worth mentioning here: sometimes bath time resistance isn't about the bath at all. It's about the child needing you. Not just to get them clean, but to help them process whatever's going on inside. Maybe they had a rough day. Maybe they're overstimulated, or they just miss their parents if you're looking after them for the evening. Bath time becomes one of those moments where all the emotion of the day bubbles up, pun intended, and they let it out. So instead of rushing through it, we can use this time to reconnect. Even if we don't talk much. A warm cloth on the back. A soothing voice. A little song you used to sing when they were a baby. These small acts remind them that they're safe. And when a child feels safe, they begin to relax. That's when bath time becomes more than a chore, it becomes a ritual. And let's be honest, we can use the calm too, can't we? So often, we're running around trying to make everything perfect. But slowing down to share a few minutes of warmth and water, laughter and bubbles, can be just as healing for us as it is for them. It's a little pause in the day where we're not doing laundry or checking our phones or managing a dozen little tasks. We're just present. And if that sounds idealistic, don't worry. Bath time won't be perfect every day. There will still be moments of spilled water and soap in the eyes and grumbling on both sides. But even those moments can be softened when you come to them with patience and perspective. This season of life, where little ones need us, look up to us, and learn from how we handle even the smallest things, it doesn't last forever. And these small rituals are the threads that weave strong memories. So whether you're running bath time for the 100th time this year, or maybe just filling in for a night or two, know that what you're doing matters. You're not just getting them clean. You're giving them comfort. Teaching them trust. Showing them what it looks like to care for someone, gently, kindly, and with love. Now that we've talked about the importance of setting a cozy atmosphere, creating a rhythmic routine, and offering a little role for them to play, let's look at another way to make bath time less of a struggle. Using play to your advantage. Play is a child's natural way of processing the world, and it's a wonderful tool you can use during bath time. Instead of focusing solely on the task, getting them clean, let's focus on making the process feel like an enjoyable activity. Have you ever noticed how kids suddenly love bath time when there's a toy involved? A rubber duck, a little plastic boat, or a cup to pour water with can completely change their perspective. You can turn bath time into a playful, imaginative experience. For example, instead of saying, "Let's wash your hair," try turning it into a little adventure. "Let's get the shampoo ready for your dragon's fiery mane." Or, "Here comes the ship, ready to sail across the tub. Let's make sure the captain gets a nice, warm bath." Children are often much more excited to participate when you make them the hero of their own bath time story. It's a shift from "I have to do this" to "I get to be part of something fun." And you don't have to have a bunch of expensive toys to make bath time enjoyable. The simplest things, like plastic cups, sponges, or even bubbles, can spark creativity. For instance, blowing bubbles together, or letting them try and catch the bubbles as they float in the air, can turn bath time into an interactive playtime. You might even create a game where they need to rescue their favorite toy from the bottom of the tub, or they can fill the ocean by pouring water from one cup to another. If you don't have many bath toys, think about using things you already have around the house. Old kitchen items can become fantastic bath time tools. Measuring spoons, small bowls, or even a plastic strainer can allow them to explore water in different ways. It's fun, educational, and keeps them distracted, making the bath less about the task at hand and more about the experience. Now, there will still be days when even all the playfulness doesn't quite get them in the tub. That's perfectly normal, and part of the process is accepting that not every bath time is going to be perfect. There may be days when your child just isn't in the mood for play or bath time altogether, and that's okay. You don't have to push. Instead, take a breath, stay calm, and offer them a gentle reminder that the fun can happen once they're in the water. Here's another tip: work with their natural rhythm. It's tempting to try and make bath time fit into a strict schedule, but remember that children have their own rhythms, and bath time can go a lot more smoothly when it aligns with theirs. If you notice that your child is winding down for the evening, that's the perfect time for a bath. If you try to rush them into the bath in the middle of an energetic play session, you might meet more resistance. A bath is a wonderful transition between the excitement of the day and the calm of bedtime. So, look for those moments when your child is naturally slowing down, maybe after dinner, or when they're starting to show signs of being tired. It's easier to ease them into bath time when their bodies are already winding down. It's all about working with their natural flow rather than against it. One final piece of advice for making bath time easier is staying calm yourself. This might be the hardest part, I admit. Especially when you're exhausted, and the last thing you want to do is spend another half hour coaxing a child into the bath. But when you remain calm and steady, it sets the tone for your child to do the same. If you're feeling frustrated or stressed, they're going to pick up on that. But if you stay relaxed and patient, it helps to create an atmosphere that's easier for them to go with the flow. You can even model calm behavior by taking a deep breath and saying, "I'm going to take my time and enjoy this moment with you." Maybe even quietly acknowledging, "I know this might be tough for you right now, but I'm here to help." Children respond to calmness in a way that allows them to mirror it. And before you know it, bath time doesn't seem like such a battle anymore. It's also helpful to remember that sometimes, bath time becomes a way for your child to seek attention or connection. After all, the bath is a quiet time where you're focused on them, giving them your full attention. It might just be their way of saying, "Hey, I need you right now." By staying calm and taking the extra few minutes to connect, even when it's a little challenging, you're teaching them how to navigate life's little frustrations in a calm and loving way. Remember, bath time isn't about getting it perfect every time. It's about making small, consistent changes that will slowly turn bath time into something they look forward to rather than dread. And just like any other part of parenting, the more you approach it with patience, understanding, and love, the easier it becomes. So, now that we've covered these tips, setting up a cozy atmosphere, sticking to a rhythm, using play to your advantage, and staying calm, I hope you're feeling a little more prepared to tackle the next bath time with a sense of excitement rather than dread. It might take a little time, but every step you take to make it more enjoyable will be one you'll both remember for years to come.